We're now talking about hypersensitivity reactions. Hypersensitivity reactions are immune responses to perceived threat. Now, you remember I asked you in a previous video, was inflammation good or bad? We said it could be good if it was appropriate, but bad if not. We said that sometimes, even in the good, that it could be overreactive, which could be hypersensitivity, all the way to possibly inappropriate, which would be an allergy. All right. When we get to the hypersensitivity reactions, they are graded by time of onset. There are 4 types: the acute, the intermediate, and the delayed. The acute, the intermediate, and the delayed. The acute, which is a type 1, Roman numeral 1, starts in approximately a few seconds and lasts about 30 minutes. It could be like even a penicillin allergy. Now, it's mediated by immunoglobulin E, that pesky one we talked about. The types 2 and 3 are intermediate. They start in about 1 to 3 hours, last about a half a day. The type 2 is cytotoxic. Either IgM or IgG can be the culprit in this. And one example of this is when you put the wrong blood type in. One example is the wrong blood type, when you mess up the ABO or RH. The type 3 is the immune complex. It's where one antibody really kind of goes after another in some cases. And then the 2 antibodies fall on a tissue, and then macrophages come in and try to clean the tissue and mess up things. For example, with rheumatoid arthritis. The delayed hypersensitivity, like poison ivy, doesn't start right away. So in other words, if you touch poison ivy, you may not see anything for quite a while. As a matter of fact, it's a very confusing situation because you start breaking out, having a rash, and you're trying to figure out, well, what did I do within the last 2 or 3 hours? What did I eat? What detergent? And really, it was something that happened several days ago. Now, these 3 here are mediated by antibodies, so they can be transferred in the serum or plasma. This one cannot, because this is cell mediated. This is T cell. So when we look at it, immediate type 1 hypersensitivity allergies beginning after contact, asymptoms sensitize the person. Conjunctivitis, rhinitis, penicillin allergy. In penicillin now, we rarely give penicillin in the doctor's office because you could get a tremendous allergic response if you're allergic, and many of the doctors don't have the crash carts and everything. So generally what they will do is write a prescription for the injectable. Now, I'm not talking about the oral penicillin, the PNVK, but the injectable, and tell you to go next door and get an injection. Go next door and get an injection at the emergency room. Okay. That's the immediate. Anaphylactic shock, as we alluded to, can be of many gradations, but the ultimate could be if all of a sudden your trachea closed. Treatment generally is epinephrine. The subacute is caused by the IgG or IgM. Remember, we had the cytotoxic, and you can see that antibodies bind to antigens on specific body cells. So an example of this would be like your ABO incompatibility, mismatched blood. Okay. Immune complex antigen are widely insoluble antigen antibody complexes can be cleared, but these antigen antibody complexes can land on a tissue. Sometimes it can be one antibody against another, and sometimes it could be an antibody against an antigen, and the antibody against the antigen lands on a tissue, and then macrophages come in and damage the tissue as they try to eat off of it. Okay. That's an example of that. Systemic lupus. There are 2 types of lupuses, lupus and then systemic lupus. Systemic lupus involves more than one body organ. Lupus could be just for the skin, a discoid lupus. Delayed hypersensitivity reaction, like I said, it doesn't start until a few days later. And so you can be confused as to what caused it. But one example would be the poison ivy. It doesn't come out right away. It takes time for those T cells. So the first three, again, as I alluded to, were antibodies. They could be, if you had a transfusion and somebody had that, it could be transferred in the transfusion. But with the T cell one, it can't be transferred. Developmental aspects we've kind of talked about, we won't get into. All right, this actually closes out the immune.